Hello, everyone. I'm Luis Cruz, Community and Public Relations Director at the San Diego Union-Tribune. Welcome to this free Together San Diego Business webinar. Today's topic is Business Resilience, Small Business Resources for Relief, Reopening, and Recovery. This webinar will be led by representatives from the Office of the Small Business Advocate and California Entrepreneurship Task Force. It will highlight what small businesses have had to go through during COVID-19. That includes how some businesses went online to increase revenue by piloting new e-commerce approaches and technology, as well as built safe places for their customers that followed state and local guidance. This is an interactive webinar, so after their presentation of about 35 minutes or so, we'll give you an opportunity to ask our panelists some questions. Please type your questions in the Q&A field, not in the chat box. That's on the lower portion, right there on the lower right-hand portion of the toolbar. If you use the Q&A field, it will make it easier for us to keep track of all the questions. Okay, let's meet our panelists today. Isabel Guzman is California's Director of the Office of the Small Business Advocate and serves as the lead on the Entrepreneurship Task Force for the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. Prior to her appointment, Isabel was a consultant in technology commercialization and an entrepreneur who co-founded an advisory firm focused on helping small business contractors leverage government and private supply chains. Isabel previously served in the Obama administration as the Deputy Chief of Staff at the U.S. Small Business Administration. Don Berry is the president and co-founder of Public Benefit Corporation, Luna PBC. Luna PBC, a World Economic Forum 2019 technology pioneer, launched Luna DNA, an SEC-qualified health data sharing platform owned by its members. Don was an early Illumina employee and spent 12 years there serving in multiple market development roles, including as an executive. Don was San Diego Business Journal's 2017 Businesswoman of the Year, a TEDx San Diego 2016 speaker, and is board chair of the Alzheimer's Association San Diego and Imperial County. Isabel and Don, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is going to be a pleasure, and we have a few other guests, which then I will let you introduce as the program goes along, and I'll let you take it from here, and I will be back to help with the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Luis, and thank you everybody for joining today. Happy Friday to you. My name is Dawn. I live in Solana Beach with my family, and my startup is here in San Diego. And as Luis said, Luna DNA is an online platform where people share health data that's in their head, at their fingertips, to advance health and quality of life discovery. So think about joining us if that sounds interesting to you. There's no better place than San Diego for high-tech, biotech, life science. That's why I'm here. That's why I build here. And I think as dreamers and builders and entrepreneurs, there's no better place than California. But what's super striking about San Diego is that 98% of all of the firms here, as well as 60% of the employment, comes from companies that are smaller than 100 people. So you as entrepreneurs, as builders and dreamers, you are just critical to the fabric of our culture and the backbone of our economy. And this is why I joined the task force. I really want to make sure our voice and needs are heard and supported all the way up through Sacramento. So we can succeed as individual business, but also as a major global economy here in California. So the Entrepreneurship Task Force is supported by the California Office for Small Business Advocate under the Governor's Office, and again, serves to be that bridge for small and medium companies to get the resources and tools we need to succeed. And so with that little backdrop, I'm going to hand it over to Isabel to talk about all the tools and resources to help us here in San Diego. And I want to thank the entrepreneurs for being on today. I know it's busy. We're hustling like crazy to share how they've used these tools for success. So again, thank you everybody for being here. Isabel?
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have Dawn serve on the Entrepreneurship Task Force. She's immediately hit the ground running, and that just shows the tenacity of the entrepreneurs in San Diego. My office, it's the Office of the Small Business Advocate within the Governor's Office, as Dawn mentioned. I am the voice of small business, and so having the Entrepreneurship Task Force be a part of what we're doing is so critical, because really they are the folks in the midst of their companies dealing with the issues of today. And so it's wonderful to have them engage with our office. I will share my screen and walk through a quick presentation just so that you know of some of the resources that the state has. I'd be remiss, because I do believe one of the key things that makes businesses more successful is connecting to the resources around you in the networks. So let me just briefly share this. Our office can help in many ways, but one of the main things we do is provide information and resources. Of course, you can connect directly to us. I put this information here so you can have it long term, and we have an online business portal where you can, walk through all the different permit systems, get startup guides with the state, etc. But I think one of the biggest assets that California does, unlike any other states, is we fund and match all the federally contracted small business centers. So your small business development centers, your women's business centers, your minority business development centers, the procurement centers, anything that's funded from the federal level, we fund to expand. And so that really gives us an advantage. And in the San Diego area, there are multiple centers that you can go to for support. And our entrepreneurs have experienced that and can share a little bit more. But the website is business.ca.gov/centers, so that you can actually connect to an advisor. And these are experts that have either worked in and can prepare you for marketing changes, so adapting to this e-commerce environment. They can help you directly access capital, whether that's filling out your PPP forgiveness, getting the loan in the first place, etc. And so it's really important that you find an advisor that can work with you and support you. The other thing is that we're your voice in government. So the governor, Governor Newsom, of course, is, having been a small business owner himself, elevated the office back to a director level position so that it could have reach across government at a cabinet level as originally intended in the statute. And so, we focus on three core areas, and that's access to capital. There are federal programs and state programs that we advocate on your behalf to try to access, as well as focus on the revenue side, the markets, the procurement, government procurement, or just private supply chain, getting you prepared, contract ready, and getting you, engaged in international markets. Right now it's more challenging, but still utilizing e-commerce to position yourselves to access current local markets and then eventually brought into the globe. So we also provide networks and resources. And this is where I reference the Entrepreneurship Task Force, which really, they've stepped up to have a series of rapid response webinar series, which can be accessed online at business.ca.gov/ETF, addressing issues of, how to get funding, both on the innovative startup side, as well as with venture and angel, as well as the lending side. So there are resources for you across the board, however, your business is positioned. If you're looking at startup launch or growing and scaling your business, you should definitely reach out and connect to the resources available. And then the last thing is really on resilience and emergency response. And so just to, since COVID-19 response started, we've been stepping up in terms of our engagement with small businesses and trying to provide direct consulting assistance, so are available for that. But in addition, the office as a whole has been engaged in developing industry guidance and trying to make it more available to small businesses, doing trainings, et cetera, helping you access PPE. And if you're selling PPE, getting in a marketplace that's California specific with safelymakingca.org, and really providing resource guides so that you can get up to date on the latest information. Our centers, I'll reference back to them again, are also great resources for this, because not only are they aware of what's happening at the state, but they have the local information. So there are local loan programs in many locations or grants that pop up. And so they stay attuned to all that information so that you can have it at your fingertips. And then the last thing I'll mention as well is the Governor's Task Force on Business and Jobs Recovery, which really brings me to the next initiative. The Governor launched the task force to help us create a pathway back to economic recovery, really focusing on making sure that, in my subcommittee, making sure that small businesses had the tools and resources and pathways to survive during COVID-19. One initiative that I want to highlight is Calling All Californians, Shop Safe, Shop Local. This was a way for us to mobilize for businesses highly affected by COVID-19, our retail, restaurants, and professional services, personal services, really with the rallying call for consumers to spend locally, to shop with small, to support them during this time when they're out making a purchase, making sure that they're doing it safely to protect the small businesses and their employees. But on the other side of it, providing all the resources and wraparound services that small businesses would need to get their businesses operating safely in this environment, to access the PPE or get the loans that they need, and try to provide some free and discounted offers to help them get more tech savvy and acquire the technology that they need to go more digital or go cashless or whatever the necessity is to try to improve the safety environment as their consumers come into their shops. So there are over 22 corporate partners and 40 offers. And while the campaign was a month-long period for the rallying cry to shop small, of course, it's something that we need to continue throughout this disaster. And so the site stays active. All the tools, all the corporations agreed to extend their offers. You can go get a free website from GoDaddy. You can get 4 free ads from Nextdoor to really try to increase your engagement with your consumers during this time. So I encourage you all to go to business.ca.gov/ShopSafeShopLocal, or just go to the website that I've referenced and you will find all the tools. This is the resource page for you all to reference going forward, but, and I know this information will be shared with all the participants. The most important thing I think is that I want everyone to take away is that we are here for you in multiple ways. One is just to provide those resources, fund the centers locally so that you have boots on the ground near you to help you get capital ready or lender ready or, contract ready or whatever the need is. But then in addition, our entrepreneurship task force is here to help leverage that voice, and Don's a wonderful advocate for you in San Diego. So we want to bring on a couple of our small businesses in the San Diego region. So without further ado, I want to introduce them. So we have Andrea Hudnell, who is the owner of Fiji Yogurt. And so for those of you who are familiar, it's in the Hub Hillcrest Market. And they provide frozen yogurt and desserts. And actually, Andrea purchased it back in 2018. So recently, to sort of preserve that neighborhood staple that she loved and wanted to support. Originally from Chicago, we're really lucky to have her here in California. And then Rodnia owns a restaurant with her mother, and actually Maria Rosario Sotelo, excuse me. They actually started in a driveway, and their food, El Borrego, which is lamb, was so popular that everyone drove for miles. They finally opened up a restaurant, and so that's El Borrego restaurant, which is in City Heights. And so we're pleased to have both of them here today, just to talk about, what's been going on during COVID. We know this pandemic is like nothing else we've ever seen before, but it really has taught us an incredible amount. And as small businesses, you expect the unexpected, constantly adapting to new market demand and realities. So I just wanted to have Rodnia and Andrea introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their businesses, and share what they've done to adapt in the past few months. So if you want to go first, Andrea, please.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, so my name is Andrea. As Isabel said, I purchased Fiji Yogurt in Hillcrest back in 2018, and it was such a cute family neighborhood-oriented place where people came in and really just had a good time, and I wanted to continue that, and we did. People come in, and before COVID, people would come in and play games. We watch Jeopardy. They bring their families. We cater to local elementary schools and high schools on certain days. So people, kids would wait for us to show up and have lines down the soccer field waiting for their yogurt. And that's what Fiji Yogurt is. It's that neighborhood spot where when you come in, I remember what you like, because I paid that much attention to the customers. And we miss having you guys in the shop.
Thank you so much, Rodnia.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. We are very happy to be here. And well, I'm Rodnia. Our restaurant is El Borrego. As Isabel said, it's the lamb. Our specialty is lamb, and we have been in business for 15 years already in City Heights. We are in a great community. We are very happy, and it's been great engaged with the community. Our specialty is lamb, and everything is made from scratch. So at the beginning, we said that we were going to have a little piece of Mexico here in San Diego. And I think we made it because the people, when they come, they are eating the tacos, they are eating the bean soup, and they are like, oh my God, you really transport me to my grandma's backyard in Mexico. So yes, we have been doing that for 15 years, and it's been pretty hard these times, I think, for everybody. And my mom and I own the restaurant. And first of all, when all this happened, you know, we didn't know how to start, and we made some changes in order to adapt whatever is going on. But that's a little bit of our story.
Thank you. Thank you both. Well, throughout COVID-19, there have been stories of resilience. And in talking to you both, I know that you've both tried to persevere in the face of this extreme financial and personal hardship. And so, during a recent virtual trip I took for a podcast series we did, I spoke with multiple small businesses up and down the state. And the theme that we kept on hearing repeatedly was the community rallying around the business owners, because small businesses are such a unifying force in our neighborhoods. And you both referenced the neighborhoods that you're in. They are where we gather to feel part of community. What was the biggest or your favorite example of how that community spirit has helped you now during this pandemic in terms of the community rallying and supporting your business during this time? Rodnia?
Well, in our case, when all this started in March, like a week later, maybe the end of March, I received a phone call from our customers. And one of them was Brandon, and he said, hey guys, how are you doing? And we said, well, we're kind of sad, we don't know where this is going. They said, hang in there. And I just want to call you to let you know that I want to donate. I need a gift certificate. And I was like, oh, Brandon, thank you so much. Okay. So I was doing the payment, I was processing the payment, and I said, okay, for how much? $300. And I was like, oh my God. And then another phone call from another community member. Hey guys, how are you doing? It was Aaron. He said, okay, hang in there. I'm going to buy a gift certificate for $100. And then for $200. And then that was the way that everybody was responding. So we were like, oh my God. And they come and they order 2 or 3 times a week, but they are not using the gift certificates. So that's how the community has been supporting us. It was amazing.
That's amazing. And that's really what we were trying to rally folks to remember, is that their favorite spots, because I know both of you have favorite spots in the neighborhood and need that kind of support. Andrea, was there anything specific that you want to reference?
Absolutely. When we first, in March, we had to close for a few weeks because we didn't know we had gotten the word from the county that, the restaurants needed to close up. We were shutting down. So we did that. And I was still there at the shop every day, just cleaning up, I don't know where else to be. So I would be there. And I have a customer named Patricia, and we sell yogurt by the quart for to go. And she came every other day and would buy all the quarts that I had. And I would make more quarts, and she would buy all of the quarts and deliver them to everyone that she knew. And then she would take orders from other people and come back and buy more quarts. And she's been doing this since the pandemic started. She's been coming back, buying quarts for the community. And she's been so awesome. It's helped so much. And we've had other customers. Everyone that comes in, they're just not come in because we've had to change the way that we set up. So everyone that comes by, they're just like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being open. And even with this coin shortage, we have customers that are coming and paying with rolls of quarters and rolls of dimes so that we have change, because we can't get change at the banks. So the community has rallied around us to help.
That's great. And on the other side of it, how have resources in the community helped you? And what did you do? Maybe each of you could talk a little bit about your strategy for survival to date, and what resources have really been helpful that you would point businesses to.
For myself, one of the biggest resources for me has been the International Rescue Committee, IRC. They've been so helpful in pointing me in the right direction. When this first began, I didn't know what to do. And they called me and they said, these opportunities out here, these grants are out here. Here's the links. And one of the representatives, Anna, if I was having trouble at 10 o'clock at night, she said, call me. And I would call her and she would walk me through it. And then the next morning she'd check back in. Did you get it finished? And then a week later she called me. Did you get a response? So they've been extremely helpful in helping me get grants and loan applications for things that I didn't even know existed. And then for helping me to get exposure with articles and magazines. So they've been extremely helpful.
And the IRC, for all folks who may not know, in San Diego, it is a small business development center satellite office, and so it provides, all the resources around access to capital, strategy, knows the federal programs, knows the state programs, as well as local programs. So it's been a great addition as a result of the state's funding. Rodnia?
Yes, in our case, we were like everybody. We were like in shock. Like, my God, what are we going to do? How are we going to survive? What are we going to do? So the thing is that first of all, I have a phone call from CDC, which is the development center, and they guide me and say, Rodnia, there are grants. In case of the rent, you have to negotiate with your landlord and see what is the best that you can pay, and then go through the loans that you have. There's a deferment program. There are these grants that you can do. So they give me all these advice, and they guide me. And we took all these steps, and we applied for several grants, but it was through CDC. It was amazing what they have been checking on us. How are you doing? What else do you need? Do you, like Andrea, do you finish applying for this application, and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we have a couple of grants, and they have been super, super, super helpful. And they guide us through all these. So they have been amazing.
That's great. I think that the other side of the support, the resources that are being brought to bear, is also the funding. And so I don't know if either of you could share a little bit more about the loans, or especially the grants that you've been able to access, and what that process was like. Rodnia?
Yes, of course. For us, we got the PPP, and it was through CDC. So we were able to get the access to them. And then we also had a grant from the city of San Diego. And we were talking from a lot of people inside of the city of San Diego. So they were guiding us how to do it. Okay, it's gonna release the application at 5 o'clock. You have to be online. If you have any other questions, I remember that it was a Friday, and it was 10 p.m. because they released the application. There were so many people trying to get that grant that it was 10 o'clock. We were not able to finish the application. And they answered everything. It was 10 o'clock, and I was like, how do I do this? I'm not able to go into the application. And they were answering everything. And then we had another grant from City Heights. So yeah, everybody has been amazing, super helpful. It's about helping and getting back and giving to the community too.
I have a question for both of you. I mean, your businesses have such a relationship and intimacy component to it. A part of the Shop Safe Shop Local has a lot of the tools that we need to boost our online presence and our online tools and our contact list systems. Can you describe how you've adopted those or adopted technology in general to keep things going?
Sure. In my case, it was doing everything through the phone, so and online. So like we are a restaurant, there is no dining, so takeout. And then, okay, you can pay over the phone and you can do curbside pickup. So we were taking the orders, they were checking our menu online, they were placing the order through us, they were paying over the phone, and we were giving everything to the car, or they show up and they just take the food. So those were the changes in order to survive. It was a curbside pickup and takeout through the phone or through online.
Yeah, and for myself, because we are frozen yogurt, it's not so easy to transport, but we have, we update our menu quite a bit more now online. So before we had standard flavors that we would keep online, but now we update the flavors every time something changes, because so that people have the opportunity to get, maybe cotton candy wasn't always on the list, but this week we have cotton candy and we want you to know that we have it and you can order it online or you can come and pick it up. And we're using DoorDash and Uber Eats and our own online ordering system. And we're using Facebook and Instagram a lot more. We also feature local artists at our shop. So we're featuring those artists on our Instagram page so that we can continue to help them sell their artwork through our shop.
That's great. I know that part of, just to call out, DoorDash, Adobe, Google, Nextdoor I mentioned, there are lots of tech tools on the Shop Safe Shop Local website, and being able to extend those corporate offers was a huge thing. Many of them go all the way through December. So being able to download those things and try them out for your business. I think one of the biggest things, and I'm curious what you all feel, and Dawn as well, in this new age of technology, what's hard to transfer is that neighborhood feel that we talked about before. And I've heard some creative measures that some restaurants are taking in Los Angeles. For example, one recently told me that in addition to packaging their food to go, they were going to add some playlists because they play certain music in the restaurant. So trying to recreate that vibe, or send home recipes, or just do other things to engage with their consumers online in a new way. And I'm just curious if either of you have found challenges trying to relate to consumers without that, face-to-face experience, and what you're thinking about.
Certainly from I would say the high-tech biotech side, the fact that we're not going to conferences like we used to, and meetups and symposium, et cetera. I think as an industry, we're all still trying to figure out how to move all of that to virtual, but doing the best we can with Zoom and sort of the era of the online meeting and online events. And I think, to be honest, we're all still figuring that part out, how to increase that intimacy. But of course, you have to over communicate now, because you can't rely on the old ways. So that's been quite an interruption, I would say, to a space that really relies on a lot of conferences and information sharing and getting together and doing deals and shaking hands. So I think we're all still figuring that out, to be honest.
Yeah. How about Rodney or Andrea?
Yes, it's been difficult to recreate that vibe. I would say, especially for us at a yogurt shop. Yogurt really is we were leaving dinner and we stopped for dessert, or we just got to pick the kids up from school and we're on our way home. So it's a more spontaneous thing. And so it has been difficult to recreate that atmosphere for our customers. And I'm not sure how to do that online. That's something that the resources that you spoke about that I really will be tapping into to figure out how I can help to recreate that atmosphere for our customers.
Mm-hmm. It's a new world. How about you, Rodnia?
Well, in our case, is thinking about Instagram and Facebook, and we are trying to share a little bit of our recipes. So, like how to make a cactus salad, and we put all the ingredients and share that through social media. So that's the only thing, because the customers want the experience of dining in and somebody to serve, and they want that. So the only thing that we can find right now is trying to share a little bit of our recipes through the social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great tool. And I do think, we had a session with the Entrepreneurship Task Force. We invited in a former Twitter executive who has launched her own entertainment company, talking about like strategies of how to create that voice online and use different tools to reach people directly in the community. And so it was a great session. Make sure that, that one is highlighted on our website, but it's things like that. All the small business centers have similar type programming to market because it's totally changed. And you can imagine your favorite small business, even a boutique you walk into, it's a totally different experience. So I know we're all trying to recreate that and working hard to help small businesses on that front. Just one last question before we go to the public Q&A, because I know if anyone has questions out there, make sure you put them in the chat. But if you could go back 6 months and tell yourself something, what would your past self give yourself now in terms of guidance or lessons that you should take and adapt into your business?
Well, in my case, we were working on a project to do the secret garden of the restaurant. So we haven't finished yet. So if I knew that it was going to happen, I would like, okay, let's finish, because we're going to be able to have that outdoor space gated, that they can have the experience, because right now you only can dine on outdoors. So that would be save for these hard times, and try to cut some things in order to keeping us in business. So yeah, that would be my, to be honest with you, just to finish that area so we can have and share the experience of dining in our backyard.
For myself, I would have told myself that to expect that anything is possible. We can actually have a pandemic, social upheaval, and aliens all happen at the same time. So yeah. But as far as what I would do different, remind myself that I can't do everything myself, and really started relying on my network and building that network earlier, because it's meant so much now. But if it were stronger, I think we would be in a better place right now.
I don't know, Dawn, if you want to add any closing thoughts. And I know Luis.
Yeah, no, I think, for us, that pivot to everybody going remote, I mean, we certainly did that very effectively, but, having those communication systems, making sure everybody had the right home office space, all the equipment that they needed. There was a little bit of, I just say friction between the time of everybody going home and then realizing I need my stand-up desk, or I need a proper chair, or I need the proper equipment. So if we had known this was coming, probably would have got everybody's offices set up a little more effectively before we had to.
Well, thank you all so much. I know Luis has more questions potentially.
I do. As Pamela Razzo mentions, amazing women panel. Great to see everyone this morning. I agree with Pamela. She asks, this is for Andrea and Rodnia, what motivates you both to keep going?
For me, is my customers. My mom, she's 72 years old. She still is here working, and to see that they are able to enjoy a meal and that they say how wonderful it is and that it's transporting them to Mexico and they love the flavors, that's what's keeping us in business. And to have that reaction of our community, seeing that in these hard times they are supporting us, that's amazing. It's like, oh my God, we are in the right place. We have the right community. That's perfect. So let's just keep the doors open and let's continue what we know, how to do. So.
How about you, Andrea? That's great. What a spirit.
I would say the same thing. My customers have been, it's like I said, we're a staple in the neighborhood. And when our customers come by, some have almost been in tears because they're like, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're open. And added to my customers, my employees are really important to me. And to keep them employed and to keep them having a livelihood is important to me. Yeah. And so that really keeps me going as well.
That's great. Andrea, you had mentioned that the importance of building a network. How are you building that network, and do you feel your efforts are effective?
Yes, I am building on that network. And this pandemic has actually done a lot to bring people together. So I have other business owners have come to me, or when I go to another shop and we have conversations that we weren't having before. And people are actually giving their services for free. I had an attorney to help me with some paperwork for free. So people are really coming together. So yes, I am building that network, and it is helping. It is helping us, and I'm hoping that I in turn help other people.
That's great. Here's another question. What would you find most helpful to communicate to customers as you work to pivot and adapt?
And I'm definitely interested in that in terms of, what you find customers want to know about your safety changes too, like how you've implemented the industry guidance. Are people asking questions about that in terms of the measures you're taking for safety?
Yes, absolutely. We are like cleaning doorknobs and sanitizing every area as soon as a customer comes. Sanitizer, using the face mask, and using the gloves. In fact, we are enrolled in a program called Great Plates that we are feeding seniors, and we are sanitizing everything. And we are very happy because these seniors are not able to go out and eat. So we are feeding them with the nutritious plates, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we are, like as I told you, sanitizing everything every 4 hours. And every time that a customer comes and pick up the food, we are sanitizing everything. And the kitchen is spick and span. And those are the things that we are following all the guidance from the authorities.
Right. Andrea, would you like to answer that, or?
I would just like to add that their patience is much appreciated because we can't operate in the way that we normally would. I know for us, we were a self-serve yogurt shop. You walked in the door, you got your cup, you got what you wanted, when you wanted, how you wanted. But we have to do that for you now. And so sometimes we may have a line because we're doing all the yogurts for you. So the patience, and most people are patient. They understand that we've had to make some adjustments for their safety and for ours.
I'm just curious, were either of you business owners before your current positions at the moment?
No, not for me. My mom was. I was working at a newspaper, So 15 years ago, my mom said, you know what, there are no lamb tacos in San Diego, so I think we can do business there. And I was like, Mom, come on, I got a degree. You want me to sell tacos? Yes, this is going to be a business for you, for the family, for your brother. So we started 15 years ago, and this is my first business. That's how
And
we
Rania,
started.
what were you doing at the newspaper?
I was doing like advertisement and editorial, trying to balance all the information. So don't have too much of this and too much of that. So that was my position.
Okay, great, great. Andrea, did you have a business before this?
I was self-employed before this. So yes, I did home inspections.
Okay. And so the reason I'm kind of going towards this route is I'm just curious to find out what sort of advice you would have to someone who wants to start up a business. And then eventually I'm going to want to pivot to Isabel and I want to hear from Isabel. Is this a good time? What are you telling people that still have that dream of starting their business? But Andrea, sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah, for people that I think that there's still opportunity, absolutely, even during this pandemic, because there are services that are needed that we can't operate in the way that we used to. So how do you fill that void for people? What can you do to fill those voids? There's absolutely opportunity out here, and find out what it is that you like to do and how you can fit that into today's world.
Yeah, for me too. I think there are a lot of resources out there. And as Andrea said, find out which spaces you are able to feed, to fill. So yeah, definitely also make your homework. That's very, very important. You have to do your homework and to see how to start, which permits you need, what's the need on the area where you are. So definitely you have to do your homework. And there are a lot of resources out there that in help for free, like Andrea says. So yeah, just follow your dream, and if you are happy doing it, go for it.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, this is specifically what the Entrepreneurship Task Force is signed up to join us to work on. I mean, and that's supporting future generations, emerging entrepreneurs in achieving their dreams. And so, we know that tons of businesses have started and been successful during recession. I saw a list recently that, Netflix, Trader Joe's, Microsoft, like lots of businesses started in recessions. This is unprecedented, of course. Chobani started in the last Great Recession. I think what the challenges are, and I think, Rodney nailed it in that you need to do your homework. So extra care in making sure you assess the marketplace, like interview potential customers, know that it's the right time before you put anything on the line, and really seeking the resources around you, because now more than ever, you need that added advantage, and networks, resources, free advisors that exist, give you that. The toughest thing will be the capital, because obviously, everyone's going to be a little bit more conservative in whether they give you that loan or give you that assistance. And I think, so being more prepared, having, that developing a plan and having strong lender readiness, which, centers can help you with, is going to be really critical during this time. But we know during every recession, people lose jobs and then have creative ideas of how to start and create their own job. And you're going to see it for sure, whether it's even as a sole proprietor, independent contractor. People have initiative and, a will to survive the pandemic. And so that you're going to see a lot of, startups happen, just like we saw during the last Great Recession, and especially from communities more highly impacted. So the past several years, women entrepreneurs have been opening at higher rates than others, and specifically African American and Latinx. And so you'll continue to see those trends, as those are the ones who have to find replacement. And I don't know, Dawn, if you want to add to it, since it's the focus of the task force too.
Yeah, no, I think leverage these resources, find that fit, like Rodney has said. There's a lot of new needs right now that we have to dive into. And I think, in San Diego, we're the the smallest big metro that there ever has been. I think we all have a desire to, again, shop local, support our small business, support the visionary entrepreneurs that we believe in their spirit and their values. I think this is a great place to get started. Maybe it takes a little more bravery than before, but it's a great time to get started.
Interesting. Andrea and Rodnia, how have you been promoting your businesses and marketing your businesses? How are you letting your customers know, hey, I'm still open, come by?
In my case, it's Facebook and Instagram, definitely. Mouth-to-mouth recommendation, of course. And also, we have been engaged with our community. So all these nonprofit and organizations that are around us and trying to make a better community and a nicer neighborhood, they have been, like Andrea says, people doing in our neighborhood, printings like, yes, we're open, takeout, so they give us that for free. So we are posting the banners outside of the restaurant, let them, everybody knows that we are still in business and the doors are open.
Great.
Yes, and the same here. Facebook and Instagram for sure, letting people know that we're here, we're open, we're, what our new flavors are. And we've also been active in updating our presence with the San Diego Chamber of Commerce. And there's a Black San Diego Chamber of Commerce. And we have a lot of different networks that I've made sure to update to let people know that we're here and we're in business, because those are being used a lot more right now because people want to support.
Right.
And so they're looking for places to support.
And one thing I would add too is, from the Shop Safe Shop Local, I know that there are at least 2 deals that would apply, and that's the Nextdoor for free ads. They just started a small business tool, or a business tool, so that you could actually promote to all the neighbors that are on Nextdoor, and then Google as well. Those are the 2 that I can think of right off that are advertising. I believe a DoorDash is on there and a bunch of others. So I would encourage businesses to explore that as a starting point, and then just connect with an advisor to know how to market your business.
And this is a question for, I suppose, everyone on the panel this morning. Are you part of any networking or support groups for small business owners?
Yeah, there's a number, I would say, of high-tech biotech startup groups. Startup San Diego is a great one to lean on right now. In the science space, Athena's focused on women in STEM. And I would say, Biocom is an industry trade organization here locally that's helping not only small but big, and really helping focus, especially on the small companies that, getting access to PPE, getting access to space. They've been extremely helpful in getting everybody back into the office and realigned with the resources we need.
And Rodnia and Andrea, are you involved in some other support groups? Who's your support?
In my case, is CDC. CDC is the one that is been behind us, and we have 3 people that it's almost like a family member. We are so we trust them, and it's amazing, all this knowledge and all these resources that they're out there, and everything is through them. So in our community, like the Boulevard and organizations, City Heights community, everybody around us.
And Rodney brought up a good point, if I could jump in, that CDC is CDC Small Business Finance, and San Diego is really fortunate. That's actually the largest mission-based small business administration lender in the country. They have incredible programs, but CDC Small Business Finance, all of these other community development financial institutions, CDFIs, you know, I know a lot of people were frustrated with PPP that they couldn't get through their bank, but there are alternatives for you. And these mission-based lenders are great resources. They also do technical assistance, and there are many of them. So they're listed on that map that I shared with you all at business.ca.gov/centers. So you can find those nonprofit-based lenders as well.
Yeah, Andrew.
And I've been being excuse me, being an African American female business owner. There are several groups that I am part of, and so on Facebook there's you have a Black San Diego and Black business owners of San Diego. So I am on those groups, and they do a really good job of sending that information out and letting them know what businesses are female owned and Black owned in San Diego, and getting that information out to the public. So they've been very helpful in that.
Okay. And Andrea, you've been a business owner now for almost 2 years, it sounds like, and Rodney said 15 years. I want to ask you, what sort of lessons have you learned along the way that you would like to share with other business owners but future business owners?
In my case, as I said, do your homework, you know, and be engaged with the community. Really enjoy what you do. You know, I really enjoy seeing the people when they are eating a taco, when they say that they feel that they are in their family's backyard on a Sunday. So we really enjoy that. That is so, it's so rich to feel that you are sharing that experience to everybody and they are feeling it. You are passing that sentiment. So that's amazing. You really embrace what you are doing, and just keep doing it and try to adjust whatever is, in this case, whatever is happening, the pandemic, you know, try to see what resources are there instead of dining in, curbside pickup and takeout. And those are the things that I have learned, you know, in these 15 years.
That's great. That's great. Don and Isabel, is there something you would like to add to that in terms of some of the lessons you've learned along the way?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Rodney. You have to bring your heart and your passion, because this ain't easy. Building something is not easy. You will encounter hurdles and challenges and roadblocks, and if you're just doing it with your brain, you won't bring your whole self to the effort. So bring your brain, bring your heart, bring your tolerance of ambiguity, and never get married to how you're going to do something. Know what it is and why, and be so flexible with the how, because you can see with these business owners, they love what they do. They know what the value they're delivering deeply, and they've been so flexible in how they continue to deliver that value when everything else has changed around them. And I think that's true no matter if you're in restaurant or biotech or anything you're building. So bring your whole self, especially your heart and your values and the mission to what you're doing, and the rest, if you're flexible, will change around, and it'll hold true and be durable.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the overarching theme is change, but that willingness to change and really pivot your business, which just means figuring out what other products or services could fit that you could do and do well for your community, and if that's what works during this time, do it. You saw lots of distilleries shifting to hand sanitizer. We've seen daycare switch to like online specialized classes for kids. Like there's lots of you can never exhaust the possibilities if you are able to be willing to change and be creative and figure out what could work within the business structure you have, and get help.
Yeah, I think that's key is to ask for help, right? If you need it, sometimes you need the help. Andrea, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just to be persistent. Be persistent. There will be hurdles. There will be all sorts of things will come up, but learn to work with it, around it, under it, over it, but to be persistent about it.
That's good advice. All right, this is a last opportunity for questions to try to get them in there, so I'll try to squeeze them in. I have very important questions for Andrea and Rodnia. When is your where is your business? What are your hours? And when can I? How can I? Do I order food through the phone, through an app? How do I go about doing that?
And what's your social media handles? We can all follow you.
Yes, in my case, it's El Borrego Restaurant. It's at 4280 El Cajon Boulevard in San Diego. And our phone number is 619-281-1355. We are on Instagram, like El Borrego Restaurant. And Facebook, it's El Borrego San Diego, SD. And our hours are from 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock, from Tuesday to Sunday. And I guess maybe in a couple of weeks, we're going to have an outdoor seating area that we're going to be able to cater from 40 hour. Right now, the space is for 100 people, but with the pandemic, we're going to be able to cater for 40 to 50 people. So we are really happy. It's a wonderful space. It's an outdoor seating, string lights, wood, secluded, and it's gated, which is the most important. And thank you very much. It was great.
That's great. Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business? I think you double clicked there. There you go.
Oh, there we are. We're located at 1010 University in Hillcrest, next door to the CVS. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, 12 p.m. until 9 p.m. Our phone number is 619-297-0830.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is I live down the street, so I live over in the college area. So I'm gonna have to drop in for some of my favorite Mexican food and then stop by for some dessert.
Absolutely, we'll be
Great.
waiting for you.
I've got my weekend planned out. So thank you all. Let's see. We have one more comment here. To all businesses, look at the diverse chambers too. For example, a business in Hillcrest, look at the LGBTQ and Allied Chamber. Yeah, and you were alluding to that, how there are a number of different chambers out in the community as well to help small businesses.
Yes, absolutely, and we do, and we do partner with a lot of different organizations in the LGBTQ community as well. So yes.
Great. Before we go, is there any final thoughts from anyone?
Well, I just wanted to, say that this has been great. And, one Q&A that came in was not really a question, they said, but they wanted to say that this inspires them to keep fighting for their business. And really, that's what keeps me going. This has been a marathon. And, in terms of my office, my staff, super overwhelmed and impacted, working crazy hours, but really it's about the small businesses. And if we can help one person connect to resources, connect to capital, or just be inspired, then, I feel, very rewarded. So thank you all for joining us today.
I couldn't have said it better. Thank you all again, Isabel Guzman, Don Barry, Rodnia Navarro, and Andrea Hudnell. This has been a very inspiring session. Thank you all, and I wish you all the best of luck. And I will definitely try to stop in and order some food this weekend. So thank you all, and again, thank you all for this very inspiring session, and thank you all for this great information today. And thank you to everyone who joined us this morning. This Together San Diego Business webinar will be available on the Union-Tribune's YouTube channel under the Together San Diego Business Seminars playlist. Have a great day and have a great weekend, everybody.